See you in a few weeks, everybody. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my co-hosts, Lauren and Bruce, and today we're done with Fleetway Sonic, we're done with video games, we're done with that part of Archie Sonic. The point is, we have been doing the Adventure Era for over 2 years at this point, and we are finally done with that part of the show that we called that. Which means that we're going to be taking a break for a little while, but we're gonna reminisce a bit about what the Adventure Era was like. Which is to say, we're just going to jerk around making fun of some of the stuff that we did and some of the bad parts of the series.
I mean, we'll talk about good stuff.
Might point out some good things, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wrote a bunch of discussion prompts the same way that we did after the Classic Era. But we made fun of plenty of stuff in that era, too.
Oh, sure, but I mean, I have plenty of positive stuff to talk about.
Alright, well, you want to get going? Anything you guys would prefer to start with? I don't know.
I mean, favorite character is always a good place to start.
Alright, well, we had a lot less, obviously, than the Classic Era. But, you know, we got some. We got Big the Cat, we got Tick Hall, we got Shadow and Rouge.
I was about to say, there's one certain character kind of looming over all the rest of them.
You're right.
Shadow is the obvious winner, I think.
Yeah, Shadow's the obvious winner.
Well, he's certainly the most prominent character, but I think that it's interesting because, you know, we've been so up and down with him in terms of... He has a meaningful arc in SA2, but after that, they completely lose the plot on what to do with him.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, that's been a problem.
He's a total
basically
mess.
up until now.
I love him.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I love him.
I think that they definitely...
He reminds me of me.
The way that Shadow...
Real.
The way that Shadow the game took things... You know, it's like, it's impossible
Shadow the game is just a mess.
It's impossible to decipher what they want from that, and it's one of the things that... if I have to give 06's writing a credit for anything, it turns Shadow into kind of a grumpy drama queen, but who gets the job done, and that feels very fitting after everything that we had to go through in Shadow the game.
That does feel fitting for Shadow.
Yeah, if I tried to take Shadow seriously, I think I would Shadow the Hedgehog the game seriously.
Yeah.
I would probably hate Shadow, but I just don't think about it too hard, and it's fine.
No, Shadow the Hedgehog, Shadow 05 as a game is a game that you cannot take seriously.
It's a game you shouldn't take seriously, even though they want you to.
I don't care if they want me to. I can't.
Well, that's why I want it replaced with a different game that ends the same way, basically.
Fair enough, I guess.
But if we're talking about favorite characters from the era, you know, it's like... Big the Cat is genuinely hilarious, and he's supposed to be.
Big, sure, yeah. Big's a good. It would be another one I could think of also. A little bit of Blaze we saw. I also liked her.
Yes,
well,
Blaze,
so,
also.
I was gonna get to Blaze because she's got a good character arc in Sonic Rush, and the fact that playing as her is basically just playing as Sonic, you know,
thank God.
After everything in the adventure games, Heroes and Shadow, is such a breath of fresh air.
Just to have Girl Sonic.
I don't mind it. Yeah.
No, I enjoy that a lot.
And I guess now that I'm saying it, the best Big moments aren't even in this era, is what's funny.
No, Big's entire existence is just kind of funny in this era.
Oh, he is, yeah. Are there any characters we're missing? I guess the fucking Babylon Rogues, but I don't think they're anybody's favorites.
No. I want to throw them into the sun.
We were just talking about them, but I just to mention them again, in Sonic the Comic, I liked Plunder, and I thought Short Fuse was actually pretty good.
Yeah, so I was going to wait to talk about the comic characters, but since you brought them up...
I guess I was thinking from the games, but you are correct, yeah.
For me, the standout is definitely Shorty, because it reminds me in a lot of ways of Shadow.
Yeah. He's kind of a proto-Shadow, isn't he?
Kind of. And this era, despite the fact that they fumbled Shadow right out, basically just after they crossed the finish line, I still love the little bastard.
Oh, yeah.
Part of that is because, you know, recent stuff has made him a lot better.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think, like, are there any Archie characters added during this era we can sing the praises of? I don't think so, though. Because I think that every...
For Archie, I could not think of a single soul.
Well, it's like every major Archie character was added in the Classic era for the most part.
Yeah, and I'm assuming well, I mean, I know you said no Flynn stuff since we're kind of waiting, But Scourge would have to be the standout, but we barely saw any of Scourge.
Scourge is going to be the standout of the next era when we talk about Archie.
Exactly.
Probably.
We barely saw any of Scourge, but I think the little bit we saw of him gave us a good... Because I know a bit about Scourge because of a certain someone.
Yeah. I guess you could kind of say that even though he debuted in the classic era, this was the era where Elias actually did stuff sometimes, but
That's
I don't
true.
think I like him too much. He's
Yeah,
fine.
I don't really care about him that much.
There's nothing wrong with him. It's like,
He's not a particularly interesting character, but yeah, there's nothing particularly wrong with him.
yeah. Did we cover anything else this era? We didn't have any like manga to talk
Sonic
about.
X.
Oh yeah. Do we have anybody that we really like from Sonic X?
Of course. The only character I could think of was Cosmo.
My man Jerome Weiss.
Oh.
Okay, he's hilarious.
And Cosmo, I mean, I like that she and Tails had a dynamic and had a thing going.
That's the thing. I sat for like a solid 5-10 minutes trying to think like, who from Sonic X would I, do I like? And I couldn't think of anyone besides Cosmo. And you mentioning Jerome, that's fair, but he's funny, but he's not like a good character.
Yeah, well, and even with Cosmo, it's like she was still underdeveloped.
Yeah, that's the problem. So that's the problem with most of Sonic X's original stuff, is it just felt underdeveloped in its entirety.
Oh, how about the guy who shot Maria? He's the best character of the era.
I forgot they even made him a character.
For reasons outside of what the show I think actually intended, although there are hints, I enjoy Topaz's presence.
Okay, fair. Topaz was not a bad character, and what she did to the fan base was entertaining.
What, made it gay?
Made everyone assume Rouge was gay.
Yeah. We've planted some lesbian seeds here that are going to flourish further in other eras.
I got nothing else characters-wise.
All right. Well, let's move on. Favorite and least favorite game.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
It's a struggle, right? Especially for favorites, because it's like we kind of, we've mentioned multiple times that we gave both adventure games kind of a hard time, and it's not that anything we said was particularly incorrect there, but it's that our attitude was very
really
different.
hard.
And I don't know if I've mentioned specifically to the people on the show, but to you guys in private, part of it is that Sid is a top quality hater.
Sure.
He is on some king shit.
Oh, yeah, and at the time, that's very funny.
Which is why we love him, but it's like...
Yeah, of course. But looking back, I'm like, shit.
I recognize that, like, some people got a little upset at that, and I don't totally blame them, because I actually still really like both adventure games.
Oh, no, so that's the thing. Thinking about it, when it comes to my favorite games of the era, SA 1 and 2 are definitely up there.
Yeah, I had two categories for my favorite game. One was just the one that I enjoy the most, and I put Adventure 2, but then I have like an objective best as well.
Yeah, so I did technically 3 favorite games, but 2 of them are Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I feel like those kind of go together.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
And then my overall favorite, though, is Sonic Rush.
Yes, that was my objective best as well.
Yeah,
Sonic Rush is just like, it is, at this point, at least to me, peak 2D Sonic is Mania, but we don't talk about Mania.
Yeah, I knew that I was going to have the most nostalgia for Adventure 1 and 2, and I still think that there are legitimately great things about those games, but I knew that if I were to judge as, like, just the best game that I'd recommend to somebody else overall, it would be a 2D game. And I was weighing whether it would be Rush or Advance 1.
I feel like the Advance games didn't leave as much of a mark on me as I expected them to, because I have nostalgia for 1 and 3 now that I look back. And I don't know, Rush just left a bigger impact on me.
Rush certainly has the most identity, I would say, because A, it has an actual story, B, it has a good new character, C, it has the fucking Hideki Naganuma, so I can see that. Whereas the advanced games are definitely trying to... They're not wholesale retreads like Sonic 4, but they were definitely trying to just do a lot more of classic Sonic.
The advanced games feel more like classic. Rush feels more like, let's put modern Sonic into a classic game with his same moveset.
Yeah. So, least favorite game. I know that's going to be a competitive field for you guys.
Oh, well, hold on. I have a third category, a wild card.
Oh, yeah?
Of best?
For me, I could not figure out where I wanted to put Shadow.
Oh.
What?
So Shadow is my wild card.
Oh, it's just I don't know where to put this game.
Yeah, it's like it's an enigma. It's trash, but kind of in a good way.
You could have just stopped at it's trash.
To be fair,
on Ross's Game Dungeon, he invented a reward for a certain game that he called Best Story by a 6-year-old. And that's, I think, the sort of thing that Shadow needs.
Yeah. You know what? Yes. But, like, this, honestly, a lot of the stuff in Shadow is not terrible. It's just, like, the stages they're okay at worst, or maybe at best. I don't know.
It depends on the
story. You rip out a lot of the game, like you take out all the stupid missions. You take out the terrible.
That's
plot.
what I was gonna say. The story is hilariously stupid, but the main issue is how you play through the game.
This would be
if
we
play through it normally. Like,
well, this is
something that Devin's mentioned before.
Well, so I hate the term guilty pleasure because I don't think that it's accurate to what the thing.
I'm not
is
guilty about
as.
saying I enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog. Fuck
but
you.
But if we were to use the word guilty pleasure for what it means and not
Shadow
what the words say,
might be that game.
Yeah, it's like Adventure 1 and 2 and Rush are the best, but Shadow is the most.
Shadow is the most. It is the video game. It is the game of all. It is the video game as we established.
Yeah,
indeed.
So least favorite game as we established. Competitive field because we got Shuffle. We got fucking. I know Bruce hates Heroes. I had a real rough time with Sonic Battle.
I said all three of those.
I picked one of those three. And it was Sonic Heroes because Sonic Battle, I feel like is part of just my fault because I don't fighting game. Sonic Shuffle,
not even a good fighting.
It's like Sonic Shuffle really just kind of was lazy and basic and didn't try too hard. But Heroes did try, and it just failed in my opinion.
It tried and fell immediately on its face. So I said all three of those games for my least favorite games. Yeah. Heroes, my only note for Heroes is fuck this game.
Yeah.
Sonic Battle, it is also fuck this game. It is, and then go on. I added on after that. It was the biggest waste of almost 2 months in my entire life.
Battle was
I had to cheat through
it.
The
game does drag, that's for sure. But I feel like have we played multiplayer Sonic Battle yet together?
Not yet, no.
We have not.
We need to. I feel like that's where the game has real potential in.
I think in multiplayer it would probably be more enjoyable, but the plot is such a slog.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then Sonic Shuffle is just Sonic Team saw Mario Party and said, "Ooh, we want that."
They literally got the developers of Mario Party to make it, but they made it bad.
It was made by Hudson?
I think so, yeah.
Holy shit, why was it terrible then?
I don't know, because they told them to make it different? I don't know.
Well, it probably wasn't the Mario Party team. Because they were probably working on, like, Mario Party 4 at the time.
Yeah, so I get all of that. I, as someone who still kind of likes Heroes, is obviously the odd man out for that. But
I mean, I won't give you too much shit for liking Heroes.
Yeah, you already did enough on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Battle,
I'll do it off camera, but not on camera.
Battle, I think, one of the categories is here is I have, biggest, pleasant surprise and biggest disappointment. So I think Battle I would easily give my biggest disappointment because I remembered liking it as a kid, and I think it's just because as a kid I didn't realize how grindy it was.
Interesting.
And I think that if you stripped out all of the endless repeated fights, it wouldn't be a great game, but it wouldn't be as bad.
Honestly, I would say just get rid of the entire story because the story is the problem.
Well, but the problem is that the story is also the biggest reason you have to play it.
I would rather just had Sonic or playing Sonic Battle been us getting together on Discord for like 2 or 3 hours and just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, but
I feel like we would have thought the game more highly of the game if that's all we'd played of it.
Yeah, if it was only a multiplayer fighter, we would have had a much better opinion of Sonic Battle. But because it had that slog of a single player experience, it ended up tainting our opinions on it. And I think even if we eventually go and do multiplayer, it's still not going to be as fun as it could have been.
Yeah, it certainly would have given us a similar Sonic the Fighters type thing, maybe. Although I would say probably still not as good as that game.
Well, Sonic Fighters I enjoyed in single player as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that game doesn't drag on, doesn't have a convoluted plot.
Yeah.
Well, and
Sonic Fighters only has arcade mode.
but that's also the thing, is that Sonic Battle's plot is the only reason anybody cares about it.
Well, yeah, I know. Realistically, it should have just been an arcade fighter, but then
because you know, Emerl, you know, his personal story, and then the Gizoid lore with the Fourth Great Civilization and Gerald Robotnik and all that is still relevant Sonic lore right now.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, Emerl deserves like a good game.
We deserve a Sonic Battle remake that is nothing like Sonic Battle.
Basically.
And has more fucking characters and environments to work with, because God, I got tired of all of those things.
Yeah, we deserve a Sonic Battle remake that is a, I don't want to say traditional one-on-one fighter, but like, you know, something more like an actual fighting game than whatever the hell kind of arena fighter.
It can still be an arena fighter, it just needs more stuff going on.
I don't know.
It'll be better if it doesn't have that weird, like, 2D, not 2D. Like, if it's more clear where things are positioned, it would be better.
That's all.
Give me a 3D fighter that's like that one JoJo 3D fighter. Was that Eyes Over Heaven?
Yeah.
Okay, I think Eyes Over Heaven is considered good.
I don't know. I never got to play it.
I never did either.
I could have played the PS3 version, but for some reason the PS3 version was the only one that never got localized, and so someone was working on a translation patch for it, and that was in high school, and I never checked if it got finished.
Damn. I've got
anyway.
more. I could play it.
I have another game category, which is it was bad, but like also I forgot about it until I looked at the list of games. And like, wow, this one didn't leave an impression at all. That's Sonic Pocket Adventure.
That's interesting, because Devin and I didn't think that the game was that bad.
Well, so
yeah,
I remember you didn't like it because it was like
Pocket Adventure
reused content.
Yeah, it redid Sonic 2.
Here's what it is. You know, it's the inverse. You know, Shuffle and Battle are the worst. I would still call Shuffle the worst game because it's just the most incompetent. But those games are the worst. Pocket Adventure is the least.
That's
true.
true.
You know what? That's a good way to put it.
Because it's not like it doesn't work.
No, it's a perfectly adequate remake of Sonic 2.
But it's so derivative, yeah.
Sure, I mean, looking at it, I would play it again, but it's not at the top of my list of Sonic games to play again.
You could play it again, or you could play any other Sonic game that's good.
Yeah, I could just go play Mania for the, like, 9th time.
Like, if all 2D Sonic games were eradicated, I might play Sonic Pocket Adventure just for the sake of being able to play 2D.
It's like, God, I want to play a 2D Sonic game, but they were banned after the war.
Well, it's funny, you know, that out of all of the games to have rights issues and be decanonized, Pocket Adventure is the smallest loss possible because there's almost nothing that sets it apart.
Right. Would it have mattered if it was canon?
Well, what's funny is that, you know, in that game, Eggman starts in his classic outfit, and then by the end he's changed into the modern coat. So at the time that it was still considered canon, it was considered, you know, right on the line between classic and modern Sonic, which is kind of neat. And what's hilarious is that now what bridges the gap between classic and modern Sonic is Sonic 4, which is also derivative in almost the exact same way.
Yeah.
It's got more original level design and music, but it's still got the art direction thing, and it's not great. It's not even next era though. That's the one after. So yeah.
Yeah.
Games.
How about favorite soundtrack? This is a fucking bloody
Sonic Rush, easy.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Either Rush or SA2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the adventure games do have great soundtracks, but I had to give it to Rush because it's just unique.
There's a reason why Naganuma called the CEO of Funky Fresh Beats.
Naganuma calls himself a lot of things.
No, but people actually call him the CEO of Funky Fresh Beats.
Yeah, I know, but he also tweets things like, being gay isn't your choice, it's mine, you're gay now. You know, so it's...
I mean, part of that is just he sees English words, he sees English phrases and thinks they're funny.
Yes, I know, but...
I love that, man.
I don't know, I'm still an SA1 soundtrack truther, I think.
SA1
Not that Rush
has
isn't
a good one as
amazing,
well. SA1 has a good soundtrack, but to me, I feel like it doesn't hit the highs of SA2's.
Agreed.
SA2 has more rock and guitar solos, I suppose.
That's part of, for me, why. I mean, like, stuff like, Live and Learn, City Escape, and Metal Harbor are all there. Those aren't in SA. SA1, to me, still feels reminiscent of the classic era.
That's part of what I like about it, is that it feels like an evolution from Sonic CD Japanese soundtrack, I guess, of all things.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, if I need a pick-me-up, I know I can go listen to Emerald Cups.
Oh, yeah, especially when you get the guitar solo on that, on the actual album version.
No, there are plenty of... SA1 has a great soundtrack, but 100%. SA2's just hits higher highs, but it doesn't hit as high highs as Rush, obviously.
Yeah, and I guess there's no bad choices here. There's there's ones that I would question and disagree with. But...
Well...
Actually, if you want to talk about worse soundtracks, there is at least one bad choice, I think.
I'm curious what your bad choice
Sonic
is.
Shuffle?
Yes, Sonic Shuffle. I listened to that soundtrack. I didn't even remember
Shuffle soundtrack.
Like generic garbage.
I put Sonic Battle as my least favorite.
I don't know if generic is the word. It has weird screams in it.
I don't remember Shuffle soundtrack. I also gave an award to the most mid as fuck soundtrack, and that's Heroes.
Yes.
Oh, Heroes does have my favorite, my current favorite that we've heard on the show, Crush 40 song.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't put Heroes as super low because it's not like a handful of tracks that are actually incredible.
None of its music is bad.
That's why I gave it mid personally, because like what I'm made of is peak.
Yeah, well, and it's not like anything is like actively hostile to the ears.
No, I just don't.
Maybe Lost Jungle is a track that I really dislike, but that's about it.
To me, Heroes is like with Sonic white noise.
Yeah,
I don't really notice the music in that game.
Exactly. I didn't really pay attention to Heroes soundtrack until What I'm Made Of.
I don't think it's anybody's favorite OST. I've not really heard that being the case.
I look back on Spotify, and it's like I've got some Heroes songs on my Sonic playlist, and they're good. But like nothing like blowing me out of the water.
I will say I used to be very down on Shadow's OST, but I ended up liking it a lot better this time.
I was expecting to think Shadow's OST, especially the vocal tracks, were going to be really silly and cringy. But I Am All of Me and All Hail Shadow, and I ended up actually looking back and really enjoying Waking Up.
Yeah, well, and I wasn't even talking about the vocal. I think the level theme's really grown me. So
the
Lethal Highway, Gun Fortress, Lost Impact, despite being a terrible level, has a great theme.
I'll admit I find myself kind of gravitated more towards the vocal themes.
I mean, they are good, except fucking Almost Dead. I hate that song.
I think that's the only one of the ending themes that's not on my playlist.
Yeah. I will say, if I'm giving the mid award to anything, though, it's going to Sonic Riders, because what soundtrack?
Oh, fair.
That has a soundtrack? Again, none of it terrible. It gets the job done. It's just
fine. I'm sure it's fine, but like...
Yeah, the soundtrack's not great, but once again, it's like I can't completely disqualify it, because that opening theme is pretty great.
The opening theme is
pretty good. And I do like the fucking desert theme. The down.
Oh, yeah.
That one's pretty good.
That's a good choice for mid, though, because, what soundtrack? I want to give a shout-out to Sonic Drive, because somehow, despite hating Sonic X, that song never got old.
Fair enough. It's a pretty good track.
Also a shout-out to the Spanish version.
Oh?
Because the Spanish version is just a cover of the Japanese version, done by the same singer who did the Spanish version of Chala Head Chala.
Oh, Hironobu Kageyama's got a vocal match, I guess.
Apparently, his version of Chala is also fucking great, and it's the only version of Sonic Drive on Spotify.
Well, you've been listening to the Spanish version this whole time.
Well, no, I've listened to the Japanese version on YouTube. There's also a really good English cover on YouTube.
But there's no Japanese version on Spotify. That's what you're telling me.
Nope. So Sonic Drive is represented by the Spanish version, which is really fucking good. Everyone should go listen to it.
So, biggest struggle with this era, which I guess we already kind of covered with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
If it's the worst game, it's safe to assume it's kind of a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, Heroes, Battle, we've talked about those as well. We've talked about those.
It's like, for me, it's Battle just because it went on so long, but I also know what it was like watching you play Heroes.
Well, yeah, because Heroes, we ended up having to delay Heroes by multiple weeks. One of the weeks was just because I wasn't ready.
I mean,
yes. I'll always feel bad about getting the easy route of that game because like it was hard, but like
I even volunteered
feel
to
the
take
full
this-
brunt of
take
the
Team
game.
I even volunteered to take Team Sonic. I should have said no. I want Team Rose.
Well, that's the other thing. So I've also said that, you know, between serious personal stuff going on around the time with all of us,
Right.
and with, you know, trying to do it in a format that doesn't end up working that well, I do think that it is probably among the worst episodes that we've done.
Well, I think for me also, I mean, not to go into too much detail, but you mentioned personal stuff. For me, that was right around Sonic Riders.
Oh, yeah.
And Sonic Riders, that the hero story was just torture for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's...
my biggest struggles have to be the games that I cheated excessively in, which
Yeah.
are the Riders and Battle.
Same.
Yeah.
I wish I could have cheated in Heroes.
It's funny that, you know, the games that we keep shitting on are also the ones that, like, we talk about theoretical remakes of, because I think we want to have versions of things that we don't like that are things that we do.
That's something I've seen a lot of YouTubers bring up. The idea of why remake a good game when you can remake a bad game and make that bad game a good game, but because remakes of bad games likely wouldn't sell.
Well, I think that you can remake almost
yeah.
any Sonic game, because every Sonic game is a flawed game, and things that are flawed but have shining diamonds in the rough are the most remake material. Because you want to bring out that potential.
Well, I mean, again, though, it's like, I see a bad game, and my immediate thought is, cool, or a bad Sonic game at the with this podcast. My immediate thought is, all right, cool. Now I want to see Sega try it again.
Well, to some extent,
I wouldn't say that you should necessarily remake like Rush unless that's the only way that they can re-release it, which okay, I guess I'll take that.
That game's soundtrack has rights issues also, so but I mean you don't have to remake an entire game just for the soundtrack, as much as it pains me to say that.
If they're gonna remake it, it's because the DS hardware is the problem.
The DS is the problem with Rush. If it wasn't on the DS, it would be a lot easier, but the dual screen makes it hard to put it on basically anything else.
But
So
you
Capcom
can't just be saying you want to see a game remade just because it's bad. You have to be wanting a remake because you see potential in a game that is bad.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just straight up bad. Like, I don't give a shit.
Nobody wants a remake
of
what,
before.
Devil's Third? Do you remember that game?
No, I want a remake of Devil's Third.
Why?
Because it would be funny.
Okay.
Actually, there is a spiritual successor on Steam that I have wishlisted.
What do you mean a spiritual? They're both Metal Gear Solid ripoffs.
Devil's Third isn't really a Metal Gear Solid ripoff. It's more of like almost like DMC.
Okay, well just play Bayonetta. Whatever. This is off topic.
Just play DMC or Bayonetta.
Anyway, so yeah, I guess that's the remake question. Because that's the next thing on the list is most interesting thing you want to see tried in a game again.
Okay, so I would say I would like another Sonic game to try out branching narrative like Shadow.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. I was thinking a party game could be interesting, but there would need to be actual passion behind it.
I mean, whenever the hell Sonic Rumble is supposed to come out, I wonder if it'll be out by the time this video comes out, but probably not.
The problem with Sonic Rumble is that it's just Fall Guys.
What? That's not
I want something like Mario Party, give it like an actual Sonic flair.
You know, there's a multiplayer mode in Sonic and the Secret Rings.
I did know that.
It might be hard to record that.
We absolutely will be playing that somehow.
Figure it out. I think that actually fits the bill pretty well.
Okay,
nothing amazing, but it fulfills its purpose. I think.
I've heard it's similar, so I am interested to see that.
Yeah. So my most thing. I don't know. It's tough. You know, they did one thing that I talked about, which was make a good game with Shadow as the protagonist. They did that. They made Shadow Generations, and it's great.
Yeah, Shadow Generations is excellent.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I guess the arena fighter thing, kind of, but I don't really want that. Mostly, like we said, I just want a way to get Sonic Battle's story and lore without having to play it.
Give us a Sonic Battle visual novel.
You know what? There's so many fucking cutscenes in that game. Yeah,
exactly.
Just put it on the Murder of Sonic engine.
Honestly, yeah.
Is that game made in Ren'Py? I actually don't know.
I have no idea, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Is it Ren'Py? I don't know.
I think it's Renpai.
I think so, yes.
Unfortunately, we still have not gotten that fabled. Well, we haven't played it yet, but we will play the on foot racer. No Sonic R2 yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not Adventure Era though. So
yeah.
Well, so we will be covering Sonic Rivals, which is on foot and 2D, so not really fulfilling the bill, but
yeah.
It's
they keep putting Sonic in fucking cars.
I'm legitimately a little excited for Cross Worlds, if I'm honest. Just the fact that they managed to get cars and boards. So logically, the next step should be cars, boards, and on foot.
Yeah, and make sure Sonic is only on foot.
Let him live his life. Car option, but it has to be slower, so it's just a joke option.
No! It's a Flintstones car.
Oh, that would work too.
They should have been doing that this whole time. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's faster on foot. Just give him a Flintstones car, man. Come on.
I guess the problem with an on-foot racer is that there are some characters who legitimately wouldn't make sense to go as fast as Sonic. Because, like, what do you do with Eggman? You put him in a jetpack?
Nah. We've seen him run before.
I mean,
oh yeah, yeah. Okay, but Sage is playable in that game. What do you do with her?
She can float.
Can she float at the speed of Sonic?
She's a hologram. Technically, you could probably make the argument she can float at the speed of light.
Eggman enters the race and he's like, "Okay, my daughter, now teleport to the goal."
Actually, in a perfect world, there would be a cutscene. Sage wouldn't actually be playable, and there'd be a cutscene of a Sage doing that, and Eggman and Sage would immediately get disqualified.
God, sorry, we're jumping way too far ahead in the timeline.
It's fine.
Okay, let's see. What do we have? Favorite episode of Sonic X / maybe just favorite thing about X, because I know that picking a favorite anything in that show is difficult on its own.
You skipped over biggest surprise or disappointment.
No, I didn't. That's after.
We already talked about that.
I mean, we did kind of already talk about it, but on my
that's after on my document.
Oh, on my document it's before.
Oh, I see. Biggest surprise, disappointment in a game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. In a game. We basically already talked about that.
Well, I guess the question is there any unexpected, like, new things that you grew to love? And I think that we talked about Sonic Rush, which it sounds like had the biggest effect on you.
Well, so my biggest... I expected to like Sonic Rush.
Yeah,
I think my biggest surprise was Shadow 05.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's all I wanted to say. That's fine.
Yeah. Lauren, you have anything for that?
I just got that. You're saying it's like Shadow the Hedgehog 2005. I get what you're getting at now.
Yeah.
Lauren, was there a pleasant surprise or crushing disappointment that you had? I know that we had already played most of these games by the time we got here, so...
Yeah, we kind of already talked about this, but... I mean, my biggest surprise was playing Sonic Battle and being like, wow, this game's actually bad. I thought it was a good game.
Well, that would be the biggest disappointment. I mean,
it's whatever, it works.
I mean, it's both, I guess. All right.
I'd seen those sprites everywhere, and I was always expecting the game to be good.
So let's move into Sonic X. Do we have favorite episodes at all?
My favorite thing is that it ended.
Yeah, I know. I figured.
I couldn't remember any of the distinct episodes in that show.
Neither can I.
Mm.
And also, like, I tried to think, okay, are there, like, favorite moments? No, not really. Like, I can't really think of moments in that show where I'm like, wow, Sonic X is good.
So that was my problem.
Never happened.
That's kind of why my only favorite thing is that it ended.
I like the episode that's depressing with Shadow and Molly and she dies.
It was okay. Honestly, it wasn't that good.
Maybe the episode with Sonic with the girl in the wheelchair?
Helen. Yeah, that one's all right. That's the one that people usually cite, and it's not for it being bad.
No, I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, she should have been Sonic's companion, not Chris." Which, okay, she has about as much personality as Chris.
I'm biased, but I liked when, like, Knuckles went on, like, a treasure hunt with that one random dude whose name I can't remember, because Knuckles was, like, not terrible for once.
Yeah, that one wasn't bad.
Yeah, for a show that generally mistreated him, that one was pretty good.
Yeah. More like a franchise that at the time kind of mistreated him.
Oh, it will continue mistreating him, yeah.
I know.
I'm so happy that Sonic 06 is next on the list. You have no idea.
All right.
I am gonna rant so much about how much Knuckles sucks in that game.
Alrighty, I look forward to it.
Yeah, so biggest surprise and disappointment with X, it's kind of what we said, you know. I guess I didn't know if you guys were gonna like or dislike it that much beforehand.
Well, I think my biggest disappointment is how long it is.
Yeah.
If it had been cut down, get all that filler out of the way, it would have been at least bearable.
That's one of the things I've been saying. Our criticism with every Sonic show is either that it has too many episodes, or at least in the case of Sad AM, it doesn't have too many, but it didn't make good use of the ones that it did have.
Yeah, realistically, Sad AM, if X could have given Sad AM some of its episodes, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so. It was sad. Some of the concepts in X I was like really curious about,
yeah,
and then just the execution is the most basic thing you've ever seen.
They either do nothing with it or they execute it poorly.
Yeah, that's why I put part of X that you want to most see continued, rebooted, reimagined, whatever. And for me, that's pretty obviously going to be the Metarex.
For me, it's just the idea of seeing the interaction with the human world.
Okay,
I don't really care about.
Also, for me, specifically, as someone who's been reading the IDW comics, and they basically ignore the idea that humans exist.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying. I saw someone on the Sonic subreddit ask a few days ago, and there was they used a comic cell from, I assume, later Archie, which had Sonic proportioned characters and humans interacting in the same frame. I'm like, that's what I want to see, at least in something like IDW. I don't expect the games to have stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the comics, I think, should, because the comics are there to expand the universe as well as sell more games.
That fucking story in IDW where Sonic and Blazer and Spagonia from Sonic Unleashed, and there is not a human in sight.
Yeah, I haven't read that story yet, but I've seen clips from it, and yeah, it's like
they just draw little black dots in the background, so it's like that could be anything.
Yeah.
In my ideal Sonic universe, if I got to rewrite like a fictional version of it, I would not really include humans that much. I don't think humans really belong, obviously, other than Eggman. I think humans should exist only because Eggman exists, and so there has to be a human race somewhere. They can pop in occasionally, but they should not.
That's my thing. They keep insisting upon the humans existing. So it's like, if you're gonna do that, don't separate the races.
Well, don't.
That was not the best way to put that. I realize that now.
Well, I mean, yes, segregation is bad, Bruce. I don't think anybody was disagreeing with that. But what it is that you can't out-Sonic Sonic.
Sure.
And that's what Sonic X tried to do with its humans. I have less of a problem with, the Gun Commander existing, even though he is a weird fucking character.
Sure.
He is kind of funny, although not good in Shadow the Hedgehog, but that's not a good game. So, I do actually have a concept from Sonic X that I would like to be brought back.
Okay.
It's the fake Chaos Emeralds, because that show tried to expand upon that idea from Sonic Adventure 2 that made no sense, to be like, well, okay, if you can make fake Chaos Emeralds, then let's just go full bore with it. Do that again.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it gave us. It gave us parasitic trees. It gave us Dark Sonic. Maybe it's still a little unclear on that one, but
I can agree on the fake. If they actually put thought into it, like in Sonic X, and not just hand wave it like an SA2.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't done great in Sonic X, which is why I would like to see it be done again.
Sure, but they at least tried and put thought into doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same deal as I feel about the Metarex and Cosmo and all that.
Sure, yeah.
I guess I say I want to see them in, bring it into canon, do an IDW adaptation of the Metarex or whatever. And I don't know if that's necessarily true, because I don't really need to put through Tails through the trauma of having to kill his girlfriend again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fucking do it.
I was gonna say, I don't know, make her survive. Let him just have a girlfriend. I don't know why Sega's so cagey about that. I mean, I do, but fuck you, Sega.
No, yeah. But, they don't like things.
I guess let Tails be slightly older as well. I don't know. I always feel weird about 8-year-olds saying I have a girlfriend. It's like, yeah, buddy, you have a child that you sit next to.
Yeah, you've got a girl. That's your friend.
Yeah. What's that fucking Bob's Burgers clip? Well, they certainly are standing next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Comic books, both Archie and Fleetway. What were our big feelings about those?
Oh boy. Archie was so fucking long ago.
I know, it's like, it's hard to remember now. Sonic X and Fleetway just bloated the entire era.
It really did. For me, I had trouble thinking about Archie stuff, but something that's always stuck in my head is the what we referred to as the Chad Tuan story.
Yeah.
But mostly specifically because that's just, you just get Anti-Sonic trying to mug Antoine, which is just, it's funny to imagine him just running around committing petty crimes on Mobius.
I mean, there were some funny moments in that, but like, yeah, I've said I didn't really think that comic treated Antoine that well.
No, because it still played off.
It did make him a joke at the end, yeah.
Brave as a joke. Like, but like Archie was so long ago, I cannot think of anything in specific. Maybe this. The space war, what was it called? The
Zorda.
Yeah,
I did not like the way they did the Zorda, but you mentioned space. When Sonic was sent off into space for a while, that was
some
interesting.
That was some interesting stuff. I don't think they handled the Zorda war perfectly, but I think it was overall entertaining.
I think it was exciting. I think that, like Lauren said, it was messy, and they just tried to sort of cram everything in there way too fast.
I mean, that might be the best way to describe this entire era of Archie Sonic.
That's the thing, though, because I do think that was some of the best stuff of the era, because the era was just kind of bad overall.
Adventure era had a lot of filler crap in it.
It's like, you know, there were individual moments of greatness. You know, the SA2 comic is stellar, for example.
As we're talking about this, I'm starting to remember bits and pieces of Archie. The Robotnik Family arc was great.
That was neat. Yeah.
I mean,
that was some interesting stuff.
It was definitely a change of pace, seeing him have to keep up appearances with his brother, and how the fuck are the other two related to them? It's like,
I think Hope is technically his niece, but like step niece.
Oh, I thought she was the daughter of his.
Because I think I thought Colin adopted her.
No, okay, because Snively and Hope are half siblings, because Colin is both of their dad. His actual wife died, and then Lady Agnes is the mother of one of his wives, but I don't remember which.
Well, that means he must have had two wives if they're half siblings. Yes. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, both his wives died, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, fucking whatever. Yeah, so seeing Eggman being, like, evil, and just the weirdness of it all, especially, I don't know how intentional it was, but the fact that Colin and Hope and Agnes look like, you know, realistically proportioned people, whereas Eggman is this wacky, bulbous clown man standing next to them in the same panels, created this otherworldly sort of weird atmosphere to him being sinister in the background of them that I think is part of what made it work.
Fair, yeah.
And yeah, everything else sucked because there was so much like the Gruckles arc was so stupid.
Oh, and then, God,
Gruckles.
Mobius 25 years later was so stupid.
Yeah. It was boring too.
Mobius 25 years later, despite it being like a fucking world-ending event, felt like nothing was happening.
Because he just sat around talking for the whole thing.
Yeah, it felt like a soap opera until Sonic got blamed for everything.
And it's like, what was even happening in the main story? Robotropolis got nuked, and then it didn't matter, or something like that. Actually, it does matter, but they don't care about it.
There was crazy the Sonic Adventure adaptation.
Yeah, but that was also kind of bad.
I'm not saying it was good. It was terrible.
We had more of the.
Tried.
We had more of the king slowly losing his mind.
Yeah.
We had fucking fake Antoine. That happened.
Fake Antoine was wild.
I kind of liked it, to be honest.
You know what? That is the one thing I will give Penders. He managed to make that actually kind of interesting.
Well, I don't know if I'd say he made it interesting, but he aborted the villain Antoine plot that Bollocks
that's
was
what
building.
I mean. Yeah, he aborted the shitty villain plot, and I think by making it anti-Antoine makes it a little more interesting to think about.
It makes it make way less sense, but it made it that we got regular Antoine back, so that's why I respect it, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I don't have a lot of stuff from that era of Archie that I want to see reincorporated. Fleetway, on the other hand, I got plenty of shit because Army of Metal Sonics is an awesome idea, and I've spoken.
Are cool, yeah.
The Metallics are and a great candidate to be reincorporated because I don't think they were done as well as they could have been in Fleetway.
Well, and you know, if you've seen the post credits of the third movie, I don't think it's quite like that because it really looks. It looks like there is one lead Metal Sonic and just a bunch of gray sort of backups.
Right.
But it's an army of Metal Sonics either way.
My first thought seeing that post-credits scene was I turned to Kayla and just whispered, "It's the Metallics," and I don't think Kayla knew what the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah.
But I knew, and that's what's important, damn it.
Yeah, but the Dracon, obviously awesome.
Dracon were cool.
I still want to build my fictionalized Sonic alien race conflict. Space war.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and I've mentioned that Supersonic being dangerous and having serious drawbacks. I think that any sort of powered up form like that having drawbacks is more interesting. Not that I like how they ultimately handled Supersonic, because what the fuck was that?
Yeah, Supersonic kind of fell apart in those comics. It was totally fine. Okay, when they first gave it the spotlight, when like Sonic thought he killed his friends, that was actually rad. But as soon as they got split off of Sonic, it was all downhill from there.
Well, yeah, because then you were just dicking around in the special zone until the final victory story. And the final victory story is good, but it's that after that point, Supersonic has nothing to do until the ending.
Basic.
And the Chaos Emeralds were really interesting in
the way they handled the Chaos
Fleetway.
Emeralds wasn't interesting.
I don't hate everything they did with them. They were just such like a wild card, basically. They were like, okay, the writers are going to do something strange now with the Chaos Emeralds. It might make Plunder into a hippie. It might make Robotnik into God. You never know.
Yeah, that's
I wish they had, established more proper mechanics for it. Because I bet you could make all the stuff that they did work if you just explained it right.
Sure.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they might have eventually, because they started to give a little more substance to it with the adventure arc.
Yeah. Yeah. So do we have biggest surprises and disappointments with these? I think my disappointment was definitely, as we established, Supersonic just being sidelined in the way that he was.
When it comes to Fleetway, my biggest disappointment is I've been kind of led to believe that the Fleetway comics were really like insane, and for the most part they had some crazy stuff, but I feel like they weren't anywhere near as much as I was expecting them to be.
They were always very restrained. You never had an out-of-pocket Archie moment where you quote a fucking Holocaust poem or something.
Exactly. Well, not just that. Just like people had implied that like Fleetway was like really unhinged, and it never really felt that way to me.
Yeah, Archie does like things you would never expect with the characters. Fleetway doesn't do that. Fleetway is like, okay, it's kind of a plot that I would expect from these elements, but it does bring in elements that I wouldn't expect. I mean, we mentioned the way they do Supersonic. You've got you've got like a micro universe. Like, wow, I didn't see the plot going there, but then it becomes standard after that. Or like you've got the God Robotnik plot. I mentioned that before too. But then after that, it's just a mental battle basically between Robotnik and Sonic. So like they throw weird elements in, but then it's kind of standard after that. They
hold back. Yeah, it feels like they should have gone crazier in certain points.
Yeah,
and certainly that's the case where like if each of these were long enough to go crazy, that would be helpful. Just take all the pages that you spent on those throwaway stories and pump them into the main ones.
Yeah, that was the biggest weakness of Fleetway for sure.
Yeah. Let's see, what else do I have on here? I have ranking comic writers, but I honestly can't be bothered. It's like, what do you even do? I don't want to do Archie versus Fleetway for one thing, because they're too different. They're trying different things.
Yeah, no.
And if you don't do that, it's like, what do you bother with? It's like Kitching versus Stringer. There's not a lot of like crazy. Kitching was the one who did most of the important stories, and Stringer did mostly backup. So it's like, is that even fair?
Right. No, I comparing writers just doesn't feel right.
Well, I mean, it's like we did Penders versus Ballers, but
but their stories ended up being intertwined.
Yeah, for drastic problems at that.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't know, was there even another writer in that era? Chakon, I guess, even though that might have been Justin Gabri under a pseudonym.
Right.
So yeah, let's maybe not.
No.
But the last thing I have on here is, what things are we most excited for in the coming era, the dark age of Sonic, so to speak?
I mean, 06 is an obvious one.
Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Finally, I got to play through the whole thing.
Yeah, I've never played through all of it either, so I'm looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to complaining.
Yeah.
I expect that to happen. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't expect us to just be nothing but sunshine and rainbows.
Although I wouldn't be opposed to it if somehow we were.
I mean, yeah, if somehow we all well, I know Devin's not going to, but the other three of us, which, oh no, we're going to have another host.
Listen, if you guys have things that you genuinely like about that game, I have things that I genuinely like about the game. If you guys end up enjoying a lot of it, or parts of it at least, I'm not going to stop you.
Oh, I know I'm not going to.
Well,
I know I'm going to hate it more than enjoy it, but I'm still looking forward to it.
So
I'm also looking forward to Flynn's run on the comics.
Yeah, I was more asking about the stuff that we were positively excited for.
Oh yeah, well I'm definitely positively excited for 06. It's gonna be fun.
No, I bet.
Yeah, like it's
The stuff where
positivity.
Yeah, no, I'm totally positive about it.
Okay, stuff you're excited for because you think it's gonna be good, I guess.
Oh, well shit, I don't think I can put Sonic Chronicles then.
Okay, well... Okay, but you can have contrasting opinions, because Lauren likes that game for it being
I know.
good.
Well, I'm just interested in the game because it's an RPG, and I like RPGs.
Yeah, I guess.
Unleashed also, because I know, I do know I have to be careful what I say about that game.
It's gonna be a whole debate.
We might get a live breakup on the podcast.
You know what? I'll be the fall guy. You'll project all of your worst opinions onto me.
Yeah, I'll say, oh yeah, Devin told me. I didn't actually play the game.
Perfect.
I'm excited for Rush Adventure. I think that's going to be the most straightforwardly good game out of all of them.
Sure. Rush Adventure, definitely. I didn't put it on my list, but I think that's definitely one of them. We don't even have a show coming up.
No, there was no shows during the second half of the 2000s.
Thank God.
The gap between Sonic X and Sonic Boom was the longest in the series history without another show.
At least
such a number.
At least Sonic Boom will be enjoyable.
Yeah, most of the time. It has a lot of episodes you gotta remember. They're short, but there is a lot of them.
I know, but it's basically just a sitcom.
Yeah, I would say it's...
You know what?
It's
Strangely, fine. I'm very interested in the Java phone version of Unleashed as well.
I don't even know if I'll be able to get that to work.
You should be able to. G2ME is a very mature emulator.
Alright. What about you, Lauren?
Strangely,
Black
a
Knight.
lot of it
doesn't
hit me so much.
I
don't know. It's going to be a strange collection of things.
This is one of the eras that you probably have the least experience with overall, other than Chronicles, I suppose.
This is definitely an eclectic
Secret Rings,
combination.
which I haven't touched on in a long time. I don't know what I'm going to think about it when I play it again.
Yeah.
No, the storybook games seem interesting, but I'm less excited for Secret Rings. I'm more interested in Black Knight.
I never played that, so yeah, that'll be interesting.
I think it is entirely possible that you guys will like Black Knight. Kind of like it.
Well, that's the thing. Black Knight is probably the game I've seen the biggest shift in opinion on. It went from being like not particularly well loved to people looking back and saying, "Oh, that actually was not that bad."
If you combined Black Knight and Secret Rings into one game, I think it would be a great game. I think is my statement.
Sure, I mean, fair.
How the heck? That's a weird idea.
That is a strange idea, but
not from a storytelling thematic perspective. The stories are both fine, and actually both those games, but
sure.
In terms of gameplay,
I'm intrigued by both of those games. Yeah. I know Secret Rings is not generally considered to be on the good side of gaming.
Well, who knows? Maybe Project Reignition will be done by that time. I have been so excited watching the development of that fan remake and their honestly prolific levels of work. I think they're coming close to a release of God, is it Skeleton Dome next? I don't know. Also, spoilers for when we do Secret Rings. Coolest fucking idea for a Sonic level ever. But,
I will take your word on it, and I'll have to see when I play it.
Yeah. I'm excited for Zero Gravity of all games, just because I look at the problems you guys had with Riders 1, and I see Zero Gravity, and I see none of those problems are there. Now, that doesn't mean that you guys are going to like it, and I can't force myself to think that you guys are going to like it, but I do hope that that makes it more appreciated.
Yeah, we might still just piss all over it.
Maybe. It's been a good time. It's going to be a good time in the future. I think that I have run out of things to say. You guys have anything else?
I want to comment the fact that I'm like strangely disappointed that Penders left the Archie comics in some ways.
We're gonna lose his unique flavor of bad dialogue and weird self-projection. Certainly.
That's what. Yeah, because he brought a level of insanity.
It is kind of weird that you had that thought, because I too, I didn't have that specific thought, but I think it stems from that. I was just like, the next run of Archie comics probably aren't going to be as interesting to talk about, and that's part of the reason. But I don't know. Maybe I'll be totally wrong.
Still be interesting, but I'm just like, there's something about Pender's like flavor of insanity.
Well, we haven't reviewed the one fucking 11 pages of Laura Sue content that he's put out, so maybe we can sprinkle that in there somewhere.
Oh God.
Gosh.
And we're gonna cover Sonic Chronicles, obviously, so we're not done talking about Penders.
That is true.
In a sense, I suppose, yes.
Well, I'm gonna have to bring that up at some point, I think.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, we're not done talking about Penders. It's just
as a part. I see you're talking about his stories, yeah.
Yes.
Well, maybe we'll scrounge up some of the fucking Star Trek comics he worked on. I don't know.
Oh God.
This isn't a Penders podcast, I hope.
Listen. You were the one who said you missed him. Actually, Bruce said it, but
Yeah, I'm the one who said it.
And then I said that maybe he was onto something, sort of, but no.
You guys are basically the same guy. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm joking. I apologize.
That's it from.
I think so. It's getting a little late for us here as we've been recording. We're recording this the day after I turned 26 years old, and I think to myself, is this what I wanted to be doing at 26? Yes, it fucking is. Absolutely.
I mean, that's fair.
Excellent.
Happy birth.
Yeah, so we are going to take a break after this episode. I believe it's going to be 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
But then when we return, it is going to be with Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, the best Sonic game.
And a new host.
Yes, we will have another secret party member on for the duration. I'm putting little air quotes around that because I'm not certain, but most of at least the Dark Age era.
I think at least the games. They might. They've shown interest in also doing the Dark Age comics, which might be interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But with all that said, that is where we are going to be done for tonight and for this month, for the most part, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of our wonderful viewers for joining us through this odyssey, and of course, thank you to my co-hosts for being here with me. It's not every day that you get to talk about your favorite fucking autistic hyperfixation with two of your best friends in the world. So I guess it is every week that I get to do that, but you know what I mean. But with all that said, that's where we're going to be done for tonight. If you like this video, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, criticisms, suggestions, or feedback, you can reach us at any of the links in the link tree in the description. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I hope you have a great rest of your 3 weeks after this, and take care.